Hello and welcome back to a different video. Today I'm going to be going over my top 10 Pokemon, all based on my opinion. Naturally there is a lot of generation 3 in here because it is my favourite generation. Number 10 is Swellow. Swellow is my favourite of all the regional birds, and it was my first one really I got to use properly. I love its elegant design, and I used to use it on my playthroughs quite a lot. I like the Tailo that only had one evolution, which meant you got Swellow quite early on in the game. So by the time you were on the later gyms, it would be quite high leveled. It was also nice how early you could get Tailo. It would feel like it's been a part of your journey the whole time. I also enjoy Ash's Swellow in the anime, but we won't talk about that thunder armor that it used. Number 9 is Luxray. This is one of the coolest looking Pokemon out there. Obviously we all know it should have been given the dark typing because of how edgy it looks, but it's still a fantastic Pokemon and really good to play through with. You get a Shinx quite early on in Sinnoh and it does a pretty good job all the way through. Number 8 is Bayonet. I love Bayonet because when I was a kid I decided to start a new game, getting rid of all my level 100s, and as soon as I did that I was really upset and I regretted it straight away. I didn't want to start from scratch again, so someone traded me over a level 60 Bayonet as a kid, and I loved smacking down every trainer with it because of how over leveled it was. It stayed with me all the way through and I got it all the way up to level 100. It made me love Bayonet this reason alone. It also has a really cool and creepy design. Number 7 is Treecko. My favourite starter probably of all time. Its design is so clean and it's just pleasing to look at. All the colours blend well together and even its shiny is nice, but I still need to get one. I would pick Treecko probably 75% of the time in my Hoenn playthroughs. All three of the starters are great, but this one always was number 1 for me. Also love the episode of the anime where Ash meets a bunch of Treecko who are trying to save a giant tree from dying, and this is where Ash gets his very own Treecko. Number 6 is Swampert. Now when I didn't pick Treecko as my starter in the Hoenn playthroughs, I would always pick Mudkip. All three were such great choices and it was hard to pick every time. I think Swampert as a whole made the game a lot easier. Having the ground type in was a massive boost. I just love Swampert. I'm not a massive fan of its design, but it's still just very good to use and I'd always want it on my team. Number 5 is Umbreon. Umbreon is my favourite of all the evolutions, and it's mainly because of its design. Now I have used Umbreon in game but not really much. I just love its black and gold colouring, it goes perfect, and then its shiny makes it look even better with the blue rings, which I've recently been able to acquire one in Sword and Shield. I enjoy the competition between Umbreon and Espeon. They're both fantastic Pokemon and I love hearing the reasons that people would prefer one or the other. Also I like Gary's in the anime. It was a cool episode when it first debuted and I thought it fit Gary really well. Number 4 is Metagross. There's so much I love about Metagross. You first get introduced to it against the Hoenn champion Steven, and he's my favourite champion of all time, so how can I not love his ace Pokemon? But even better, after you defeat him, he leaves you a Pokeball on his table at home, and it's a Beldum. I remember finding this as a kid and being so excited to get one. Also more recently in Oras I soft reset for its shiny and managed to get it in 900 encounters, which was actually my first ever shiny. It's got such a dope design with the giant X across its face and the stern aggressive face staring at you. It's overall just an awesome Pokemon. Number 3 is Charizard, the Pokemon with too many forms. We all know that Charizard has been way overused and overhyped since Generation 6, but despite that it remains one of my favourites and it always will. I always pick Charmander in my Kanto playthroughs and I always will. Charizard has such a cool design, all of its forms look incredible. My favourite probably is Mega Y form, although it used to be the Mega X form, but they both look great. And even its shiny with the black colour makes it even better. My main reason for my love of Charizard is Ash's in the anime. Seeing him struggle to train it early on and then finally win it over in one of my favourite episodes, Charizard Chills, was what made the original series so great. And then every time it would come back I would get so hyped in the Battle Frontier and then again in Unova. And I hope to see it appear again soon. Number 2 is Absol, probably my favourite design Pokemon. When I found out it was a dark type as a kid I was shocked because of all the bright white fur it had, but it was different and I loved it. It's such a slick simple design with a white furry mane and a grey face and horn and then the red eye to top it off. Another reason why I love it is because of the lore behind it. Its Pokédex entry tells us that whenever you see an Absol it usually brings disaster with it, and therefore is known as a disaster Pokemon. And in the episode Absolute Disaster, it uses this concept really well and it shows a misunderstood Absol who ends up saving them from a disaster rather than being the one to cause it. A lot of people sleep on the Advanced Generation anime, and it's quite annoying because I get a lot of it is forgettable, but they have a lot of gem episodes just like this one, and this is why Absol is my second favourite Pokemon. But coming in number 1 is Sceptile. Sceptile just has a massive place in my heart. I'll always pick Treecko, as I said earlier, and as soon as it learns Leaf Blade as a Groovile, I would train this thing up and it would take out everything in its path. I love using it in all my home playthroughs, although it's not the best Pokemon competitively without its Mega. It's still a lot of fun to use and its design is great. And again, it's another Pokemon that Ash owned in the Pokemon anime, which also had a very cool story arc about getting its heart broken, having to relearn its moves in the Battle Frontier episode. The grass typing isn't even close to being one of my favourite typings, but Sceptile is, and would always probably be my favourite Pokemon of all time, because it was one of my first and has been with me the longest. So that's my top 10. Please let me know yours in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video, and I'll see you next time.